Right, it says waiting for Foley. I think you need to accept. Here we go.
Oh,
Here he is.
yes.
How are we doing, mate?
Mate, fucking hell. I'm not built for technology, man.
You're not. You're like my mum. Do you know?
To be honest, mate, like I turned 30 in January earlier this year, and literally my technological understanding has simultaneously gone through the floor as I've got older.
I think it's a natural, you know, like downward spiral, isn't it? As you get older.
As you get older, your technological nous goes down.
Exactly.
That's just. Go on.
Where have you been anyway? I can't even remember the last time I saw you. The other two I've seen recently, but was it Slam Dunk?
Oh, fucking hell. God knows. Whenever it was, I don't really remember it. No surprise there. No, I'm really joking. It must have been Slam Dunk, mustn't it?
Yeah. Well, we spent New Year's together, not last year, but the year before, didn't we? Down with in St Albans.
Yeah.
And then I don't think we saw you again. Someone just said 2,000 trees.
That's a great shout, to be fair. I was at trees. Well, when was 2,000 and trees? 2,000 and trees? When was 2,000
trees?
Mate, listen, you're wondering what self-isolation has done to me. This is it. This is the product.
2,000 trees is June? No, July. Last weekend of July, I think. Can anyone tell us when 2,000 trees is?
Come on, me and Boots will do a merch giveaway. I mean, we could just look it up on Google, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. But I was thinking, like, you know, getting the audience involved, mate.
Yeah, a bit of audience participation.
Exactly, we all love that. 2,000 trees. That is absolutely tickling me. It's the 9th, 10th of July, 9th, 10th, 11th of July this year. So I'm guessing it was similar to last year, to be honest.
Well, were you there? I was there.
We played, yeah. We opened the main stage.
But hang on a second. I'm talking 2 years ago, I think, maybe.
I'm sure you guys were there. I'm sure I saw Ali in that. And Ben, like I saw Ben as well.
I know for sure when we did play it, surprisingly, I was the designated driver for that tour.
Wow.
So I wasn't actually drinking. So I must have been in a really bad mood. And for all of my downtime was just sleeping in the van, most probably. So I knew we did an in and out job where we literally turned up. We played, and then because obviously I drove straight back to London. So, I would have remembered if you guys were there. I think Trash Boat were there, weren't they? Or at least Ryan and Dan were there. Oh, you were there?
Yeah, Ryan and Dan were there. But yeah, I mean, I think we all played, and then I can't remember. Sammy's here. Sammy, did you go home early, or did you stay the whole weekend? I know I definitely stayed the whole weekend.
Come on, Samuel. Pipe up. Let's hear what you have to say.
Sammy's here.
I know he is. He's lurking around in those comments somewhere, like a little gremlin.
Do you play FIFA as well, Foley?
I do. I do. I love a bit of FIFA, especially now the football's not on, like, being televised. It's basically I live vicariously through the FIFA players.
There you go. Sammy says, "Fuck if I remember." So there's no use asking him. Sure Alex and Sammy went home early, I believe, and then I took it out and.
Oh, hang on. What's this? George is saying.
I was just going to say you should get in on playing Sammy with FIFA. He's proper on a FIFA rampage at the moment.
Is he? Well, what console?
PlayStation, I'm pretty sure, it is, because he put out his PSN name or whatever it is. Mate, you're asking. I think I got that right, but you're asking the wrong person here. I'm just not.
Do you not play it?
I'm crap at all games.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't my question. Do you play it?
No, I don't. I haven't got I got a PlayStation downstairs, a PS2.
Oh, mate, actually, that's not too bad. Like, one of my mates had just bought PlayStation 2 and got the Getaway. Did you ever play that?
No, I never played.
Oh, mate, get the Getaway. It's one of those games where I wish that I was playing it for the first time again.
Fair.
It was ledge. I'd recommend you getting that game.
I mean, my PS2 hasn't been plugged in for years. I've got an Xbox 360 in my van, and I've got an Xbox in the college as well, but I never really play it. Everything is all right on my end. Thank you very much, Katie.
Yeah, clever.
Yeah, anyway, it's nice to speak to you, Foley. I couldn't. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't remember how long it's been. But so what have you been up to? And because I mean, what's that? July. It's been what, 6 months or something?
So we've established that this was July last year we're talking about, yeah?
I think we go with that, to be honest.
Okay, let's go with that. So July last year, what have we been up to? There was obviously a few changes in the camp. We did a UK tour, sort of like a farewell tour to say goodbye to Ben.
I think Ben was in here at one point. I don't know if he still is.
Oh, he must have been saw I was coming on and then thought, fuck that, I ain't listening to him rambling on again.
There was a little bit left in this, Mimi, by the way. There's not now. But
Are you drinking?
No, it's water.
Oh, okay. Mate, I'm using this self-isolation period as a good time to sort of, healthy living, man.
Oh, I thought you were the complete opposite.
Nah. Because I feel like, I don't know about you, because I was actually quite sick last week. I actually was sort of like in bed, like with aches and fever and all sorts.
Really?
So yeah, man, I was in a bad way. And so, basically decided, like I need to sort of, eat well and stuff like that. And so I've been self-isolating for like over a week now. And I feel like if you let it get to you, it'll do stuff to your head and your brain, man. Like, and I think people got to like sort of, proactively look after mental health over this period of time. Because like they talk about sort of cabin fever and, feeling enclosed with your surroundings and stuff. And I feel like this is a period of time where obviously it's a weird, fucked up period now, and this is going to go down in history. But, like you've kind of, I think it's easy to allow things to feel overwhelming and getting on top of you. And, so I'm proactively sort of like try to, live well, where we can, eat well, just keep a level head most of the time. So that's why I'm staying away from, drinking whilst inside, because I feel like, doesn't always bring out the best in you. So it's like, now's a good time to...
I mean, I went into self-isolation now, because I was saying earlier, but like, not this weekend, but the weekend before that, I was like out with friends, because I wasn't really taking it seriously. Like, I'll admit, I didn't really know what it was, and it was only the day after that I sort of locked myself away for a week, and now I'm down in Wales seeing my mum and stuff and helping her. But yeah, like that's one thing we haven't touched on yet actually, is like the mental health side of it. And it's a conversation Sammy and I had the other day, just talking about just being aware of it, like, because obviously I guess the lockdown thing was imminent, like we knew it was coming. And yeah, I think it's like, I've had a few conversations with friends about it. I think it's really important to have try and get into a routine is probably going to be an important thing for people, like, and everything that you've just said, of course, but like, it's a totally new thing, not being able to leave your house, especially after the announcement today. It's like very new. One thing that I was thinking today, like the whole thing about like having to wash your hands and stuff all the time. I mean, like, fortunately I don't suffer with it, but like I was speaking to someone the other day who has like really bad OCD.
Oh man, that must be horrendous.
Yeah, and I really feel for people like that. But I don't know, like if anyone on here has got any tips of, how to sort of cope with stuff like that, please write in the comments. I'm sure people will appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know, like day one, I got into this, like one good thing, like I say it's good, but you should see like every cloud that's lining or whatever, but I'm kind of being more social than I was before. I mean, we haven't spoken in ages, and
I was going to say,
I've been video calling all my friends. I know it's not obviously the best scenario, but like, I'm speaking to old friends that I haven't spoken to in a while, catching up with new friends and stuff as well. So that's one thing that I'm trying to do to sort of keep my sort of brain active and being proactive, is just speaking to people.
Mate, I was just about to, before you mentioned that, I was just about to say, like, I've always found that like one of the best sort of I guess coping mechanisms, especially if you're feeling quite isolated metaphorically and physically, would be like just communication. And just like even this, like when you asked me sort of earlier if I was obviously available to do it, I mean, of course I'm available. There's I'm stuck
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I was actually quite excited. Like, I very rarely do this sort of stuff. And it was like, it'd be cool just, you know, just to hop on video call. Essentially, that's all this is. But, you know, like, it makes such a difference.
It cuts off after an hour, so we might cut off, but we'll restart it if it does. But sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, but just something as simple as this, you know, like just touching base with, you know, we all live busy lives, man. And it's like, it's easy to feel disconnected and lose touch with friends and family. And although it's a shit time for it to happen, I mean, it's unfortunately also like the best time when we've all got loads of time on our hands just to, you know, reach out and sort of have a conversation with those that you haven't spoken to in a while.
Totally, man. Like, and what you were just saying, like, I'll reiterate that, like, the fact about what I found through, like, my, you know, personal experience with, like, mental health stuff and that is there literally isn't anything better than just, like, speaking to your mates. You know, obviously, like, there's actual therapy. Right, we did cut off. Right, we're back. I thought it was going to cut off. Right. See if Foley comes back. I hope he does. Just Sammy. Sammy will get you on in a bit if you want, mate. There we go. Right. Let's get Foley back.
There we go.
Yeah, thought it was going to
back.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just, I don't know when it cut off, but yeah, man, like, obviously there are forms of therapy for stuff and that, but like, I would say that speaking to people that understand you and know you is like, it's just, from what I've experienced, is one of the best forms of therapy.
Yeah.
You know, that the word you used earlier, and actually it's John Mahon, who I'm going to have on after, he once said to me, like, these 3 really important words that I sort of like taken with me ever since he said it, is like healthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously, I mean, I'll admit, like, I've probably had bad, like, unhealthy coping mechanisms that come from mental health, you know, like going out and just drinking and that, do you know what I mean? And just not even that, I don't know, you probably do a lot of stuff like subconsciously without even realizing. So yeah, healthy coping mechanisms is a really important word. But
I mean, talking about John Mahon, another example of what he's been doing is like even trying to stay physically fit at home. John, like he's a good advocate for that sort of stuff. And actually, it's because of him I ended up getting a resistance band. So you know, it's like good, like, you sort of like, I've always found that sort of the both work in tandem. Like if you feel healthy physically, then your mind tends to follow, and also vice versa.
Totally, man. Well, it comes down to the endorphins and stuff that gets released when you exercise, isn't it? I mean, you know, serotonin and all that stuff, you know, and I mean, I guess it's like kind of proven that, exercise does sort of help towards mental health. And like, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do is at the moment is just kind of have a routine. And even if it's stuff like today, like my mum went out for a run, I just like cleaned the house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
Little stuff like getting up. Like I always found like stuff that you love, like tea. We're British. We obviously love tea. Making a cup of tea, having a shower, like a nice hot shower, although my shower's crap here, which is really annoying. But yeah, just stuff like cleaning. Like, I mean, Sammy will probably say, like, I hate cleaning. Like, on our last tour, Sammy is like a clean freak. I'm not as much. But to be honest, I think he rubbed off on me in a bit on that tour. No.
Looks like I'm on my own.
Sorry. What was I saying? Yeah, cleaning, just stuff like that, just simple everyday tasks. Really, really.
Yeah.
My mum was at the door; she was trying to say something. But right, 2 seconds, Foley. You talk about something. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Someone drop in the I've never fucking done anything like this before. George, talk to me. Say something in the comments that I can reply to.
Right. To be fair, actually, my mum just told me something quite cool. Our local co-op has just started doing delivery for our sort of older residents, which is pretty cool because we're like a really cool place.
Great.
Yeah, there isn't really a thing around here, but yeah, I can't remember where we left off. I completely threw off.
Yeah, no, just about, you know, sort of like trying to stay sort of like, obviously, listen, if people want to live their lives and in a messy way or in a clean way. Obviously, I'm not going to start preaching, live your life like this way, but it's sort of definitely something I've found that helped as well. It's like you said, like the structure, like the cleaning, and it all sort of like, for me, it all sort of amalgamates into like the general sort of mental well-being, like all of those little factors, like all come together to, rather than sort of like getting lost and like on a PlayStation or on a like PC all day. I need to sort of break my days up, even if, I need to give myself some sort of purpose. Otherwise, a few hours end up being a few days, and a few days end up being a week of sort of like time just passing by. And then I guess I sort of like have that realization that all that time's gone by and I haven't essentially achieved anything. And then it's like a spiral, isn't it, really? It's like...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's different for everyone, isn't there? Like, going back to the whole therapy thing, like, for some people, I guess playing games might be that,
Exactly.
That's why I feel like healthy coping mechanisms are relative to you, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. But I guess what I would say is, like, this is definitely a time where, like, being open-minded, whereas, like, in the past, if you ask Ronnie, like, who's like, when we're on tour, I'm like I'd say one of the I'm not as clean as Ronnie on tour, or like when we're away doing band stuff.
Yeah,
but
he's in like great shape, isn't he, Ronnie?
Great shape. Like, I mean, the guy is like very meticulous when it comes to sort of like having things in place and clean. And I definitely sort of have taken bits from him. I guess what you were saying about you and Sammy as well is I've taken bits from him and then tried to like incorporate that in my home life. And actually realized that over the years, I thought I hated sort of like being clean and, being organized, but actually being open-minded to it for a short period of time, I've actually now incorporated into my daily routine and have actually realized that has helped. So I guess it's like more of like, listen, everyone, you do you, but also be open-minded to other sort of like mechanisms if you're struggling, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Like what you were just saying about learning off Ronnie, it goes back to something that
he's in the group, right?
Is he here?
There he is. He's in there.
You learned something from Ronnie. I mean, it goes back to the thing that I was talking to Ryan Hislop. Obviously, Ryan from Trash Boat.
Nah, never heard of him.
No, never heard of him. Never spent time with him. But, we do learn things from, like, we spend more. It's like I was saying about people in you're in a band with. The relationship is so totally different to anything we experience in our home lives. Like we've got our best friends we grew up with, and we've got our brothers, like or siblings or whatever. But the people in the band, like I'll say it again, it's sort of a quote I always say is, you're never on your own on tour unless you're in the toilet, and sometimes you're not even on your own in the shower whilst you're on the toilet. Yeah. For anyone that didn't hear that earlier, but like it's a totally unique relationship, isn't it? It's like what Samuel says, it's like we're brothers. Do you know what I mean? But like more than not like a sibling. And you do learn good things from each other. I'll probably learn bad things from each other as well. But I've said it to Sammy and Alex recently. Like I've felt that I've changed in ways that we've been influenced by each other, and like probably work the other way as well. So it's
definitely, man. Like
yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. And it's just sort of like life's just one constant lesson, isn't it, really? And you can sort of, like I've obviously sort of made bad decisions and, like being reluctant to listen to certain advice at times, but then also, like being like using the sort of outlooks of those people that you trust around you and like taking bits from their outlook and trying to adapt it to your way of life.
And again, when you're in a band, you've got to work, because obviously it's like 4 or 5, and with crew 6, 7, 8, 9 different people, like, and you're living in such close proximity, you have to kind of adapt to each other as well, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Like I've always said, like, in what career would you travel together, shower together, eat together, and sleep together, and work together?
Kind of like military's the only other thing, isn't it?
Yeah, military, really. And it's like it's a very, unless you've like, and again, I'm not like, oh man, I've been away on tour, but like unless you've like really done it, it's like it's quite difficult to try and relate to it. Yeah. But it can feel very like very suffocating in a good and a bad way sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people, you know, a lot of people that like my family and stuff, they're always like, you know, I say that I haven't been on a holiday, like an actual vacation in 7 years.
Yeah.
Since I started touring,
Yeah.
really. And people are like, oh, you're always on holiday.
Yeah,
Like, you're always on vacation. It's like, it's not a vacation at
yeah.
all. I mean, like, especially like I always talk about the first time we ever toured America, and it was Neck Deep, Trophy Eyes, Stand Atlantic, and Waster. And you've obviously toured America loads. We did it in a 15-passenger van without a trailer. And then we had all the gear in the van. And like all the merch racks were like coming over the seats and like doing with like the merch racks on top of your head. It's like there were times where it was like me and Sammy would sit up doing a night drive and we'd been hating it for those few days. Like, this is fucking shit. Like, conditions are awful. But then you sit there and you're like, actually, we're really fucking lucky to be able to do this.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, you know, it's like our first ever US tour. We did it in one of those Ford E350 15-seater passenger vans.
Yeah.
And we had As It Is and Rome both in one of those vans and did like a full US tour in that. And like, that's the sort of shit where you sort of went to sleep, sat bolt upright because there was nowhere to lie down. And you sort of, after like a few weeks of doing it, you're like, what the fuck are we doing? And then you sort of like wake up in the middle of like Wyoming somewhere and you're like, fuck, I'm really far away from home right now. And it's like kind of liberating.
Going back to the whole comfort thing, like, I mean, we actually did our last tour in an RV, which was great because
I saw that. You have to give me the details for that thing, man.
I will, man. I will. It was great. And do you know what? It actually, for anyone else who's in bands here or budding to like tour America or whatever, it actually worked out not that much more expensive than a van, to be honest.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Partly down to the time of year because it was obviously winter and not a lot of people are like RVing in the winter. But what my point was, like Alex, we all know like Alex, he's like 6'4".
Yeah.
What we do, so we eventually got a trailer on that tour because to be fair, it was Sammy was like, this is not happening anymore because it was just making the morale go like down and down. And like Neck Deep stood there and on day one they were like, are you really doing this without a trailer? And we were like, yeah, like we were told that we couldn't afford it, and they were like, we can afford it, like you can afford it.
Yeah.
So that made everything better. But Alex like trying to lie down in the van, so we normally take the two back rows out. Yeah, Alex, Sammy, you're really tall too. You're right. What are you, 7? But Alex trying to lie down in the back of that van, man, or anywhere, like he just couldn't.
Oh yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
In bits, and you're doing like that tour we did, the Neck Deep tour, and then we did the headline tour, Pavements, 3 months straight, like in a van. Like,
oh yeah, that was the back-to-back, the 2 back-to-back runs you did, right?
And it was our first ever experience in America, and we were so excited. And obviously it was great, and we were still excited about it. But that first half was definitely rough, you know, without the trailer and stuff.
What were you doing? Were you sleeping in the van?
Most of the time on that tour, we either got like cheap motels or we like stayed at places that our tour manager knew people or whatever, you know, people's houses and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is also, if you've done it, like it can be pretty rough, you know, like sleeping in people's basements where the dog, like next to the dog place.
Mate, we I'll never forget this time. It was on that it was on that the tour that I was just talking to you about, the first ever US tour we did with Rome.
Yeah.
And we used to because there was about 12 of us in a 15-seater. We had to like rotate who would stay in the house, who would sleep in the van on the seats, and then who would like sleep on the floor. And we turned up to this house in Salt Lake City, man. And it was tiny, and there was just shit all over the floor, like cat shit all over the floor, wow. Like actual shit. And we were just sort of like, everyone was like getting in, settling in, and we were like, how do we turn the lights off? And basically there was no way of turning the lights off. The lights had been on for like solidly for 2 years. And the only way to turn these lights off was that you had to like unscrew the light bulb and put the like, it was nuts, man. I went for a shower the next morning and came out dirtier than when I went in. It was it was like one of those crazy like cat litter, cat shit all over the floor, and we had to sleep on the floor. It's just like one of those things where you know, you did it because you had to do it, or, like you had to sleep somewhere. But yeah,
almost as bad as the college, isn't it?
I'd say that was cleaner than the college.
Oh yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, the college is what I was referring to earlier, is where Chris from Led by Lanterns and I live, and we put bands up. And that was going to actually bring me on to the point, Foley, is like, when did you and I first meet? Was it at the college?
I remember I don't know exactly, but I do remember hearing a shitload of stuff about you way before I met you, and I was like, who is this character? I need to meet him ASAP. It was because we were working with Jez a lot at that time, and obviously Jez, what a legend. But he used to sit, yeah, love you, Jez. But he used to talk very highly of you.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, hang on, Jez, who's this like Wally that you keep going on about? This Boots guy is so good at this, he does that, he's like, knows this person, knows that person. But so I remember hearing a major backstory for about 6 months before I met you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to pinpoint when we actually met. When
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, from every time we seem to meet from there, we probably wouldn't remember because we probably went out.
Yeah, I do remember one thing you did, one great thing about you, which,
oh God, here we go.
You went up in my estimations big time. Do you remember when we were on that tour? I think we were on tour with Against the Current at the time, as it is, and the Birmingham show, or some show got. One of the shows got cancelled.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you can explain. You go for it.
Well, yeah, and all I remember was is that the show got cancelled for some reason, and we were supporting Against the Current, and we were like, well, all these fans have sort of bought tickets. It would be cool to see them, and basically gave you a phone call, and in the space of a day, didn't you put on like a headline? So headline show for us?
I remember it vividly. I mean, if Ryan Cornell's still here, he was involved as well. So you rang me up, and I was like, why is Foley ring me? I don't think we'd ever spoken on the phone before, you know. We'd obviously hung out or whatever. And you explained to me the situation that the show wasn't happening. So I was still in bed. I think I'd been out to work or something the night before. It was like midday. And I got up and I rang Ryan straight away as soon as you told me. And I was like, right, if anyone can sort this, Ryan can sort it. And I remember running into the problem that it was the weekend, and all the venues were like 18 plus.
Yeah, that was it.
So we ended up we put it on in the flapper, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And like within an hour of you calling me, I think, or 2 hours, we had a poster made, we had everything sorted, and then you put on the show, and it was sick, to be fair, wasn't it?
Great show. And ever since then, I was like, yes, he's not just a gas man, he can actually produce the goods. So well done, Bootsy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, mate, that was good. Ryan actually did that again, you know, it was the other day, Counterfeit were touring with that band Palais Royale.
Oh, yeah.
And their show got cancelled for some reason, and Ryan pulled it out the bag again and put on a show with like Counterfeit. I think Yuma played actually.
Oh yeah,
Barrel, maybe someone else. I'm sorry if I can't remember who it was. But yeah, Ryan's. You know, obviously had him on before. Like he's a bit of a local legend.
Another legend he is. Yeah, he's. Yeah, I don't think he's ever put any of our shows on, but he's always been floating around in the green room. You know, like just sort of like ducking and diving. Good old Ryan. Love him.
What I was gonna talk about, obviously, we've been through tried to figure out how we met. We mentioned it earlier. I think it was, I don't know who it was, with Ryan Hislop. Is the first time we ever toured together, and I think the first time we toured together was when before I was actually officially in Waster, was when on your headline tour, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which one? Who were you with?
Okay, when I was playing in Waster.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, you were doubling up.
Yeah, well, I was. We talked about this the other day. I was driving, TMing, so tour managing, guitar teching, and playing.
Yeah, that was nuts. And you guys did the European leg as well, didn't you?
We did Europe and the UK. And do you know what? If you remember, we played Warsaw and Poznan in Poland. And the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Well,
until recently when we were playing Iowa City on the Grayscale tour, and like it was like minus 17 degrees Celsius or something. But I remember it was so cold that day that Chris, after obviously Chris Landon's our front house, after the show was loading out, and he went to open our van door, and it was so cold that the handle was so brittle because of the cold that it just snapped off and he fell off.
Oh yeah, that was nuts, man.
Yeah,
I remember there he is. I remember the.
I just came around the corner. He was carrying a floor tom because I didn't have a floor tom. Didn't have a floor tom case, and all of it was like, boing, like the sound of a floor tom, if that's the sound of floor rack tom makes. And he was just on the floor, and half a handle in his hand.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I remember that vividly. I think it was Andy that was playing drums for Waster at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember he got really sick at that point as well.
We stayed in that hostel above the venue.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, have you played an outside show in Salt Lake City in February?
Did you play the loading dock?
I guess you guys have.
Yeah, you haven't played the loading dock in Salt Lake City.
Someone told me about this the other day, right? So
it's a mad venue, man.
The only venues in Salt Lake City we've played is Kilby Court, which I think we've spoken about before. You've played there, haven't you?
We haven't. No. We haven't played Kilby Court. No.
And we played, let me Google it. I don't know if there's anyone from Salt Lake City on here, but we played on the Stand Atlantic and the Fame Tour. We played, it was a huge venue.
The Complex.
Massive.
But did it have multiple rooms?
We played in the small room, yeah, that's what I was about to say. And the stage was like 8.
Oh, that's the Complex, I think. I think it's called the Complex.
Yeah, we've played there. Let's have a look. I think I've got Complex, that's it. Sorry, I do need to touch my face, but I'm covering my hand. But yeah, we've only ever played the Complex in Kilby Court. And I remember turning up to Kilby Court the first time. Did you say you have played there?
No, we haven't played Kilby Court, no.
Okay. So we turned up, we'd been driving all night. Never been to Salt Lake City, first time in America, and we turned up at this place, and it literally looked like someone's backyard.
Yeah, that sounds like Salt Lake City, man.
It was so and there was 3 different venues inside it, and we played inside this room. It had a corrugated iron sort of interior, which is obviously crap for sound.
Yeah.
The mixing desk had about 4 channels. It was mental, and we were just like, "What the hell is this place?" Great show.
Yeah. I think with Salt Lake City, just because of the routing, I think no matter what way you do a US tour, every band seems to come into Salt Lake City and playing a show on very little sleep, just because the drives are quite bad, I think.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that's always sort of that I always think of when I think of Salt Lake City is just being overly tired. But yeah, we played a place called the Loading Dock, and it was.
I've heard about this, but yeah, carry on.
I would love you to play it, man, because it's almost like a rite of passage for Salt Lake City. It's an interesting venue, and basically it is what it says on the tin. It's a fucking loading dock, and it's essentially.
What though? A venue.
I mean, it was It seems like it was an actual loading dock to just a warehouse.
Right.
And what they decided to do was let's just get some bands in to play here. That's what it feels like. And essentially it's open air. And the stage is really small. I think Patty had to be Patty was on the floor. I think there was two.
Like the good old days.
Yeah, like the good old days, man. Yeah. I think I'm on the drums are on an upper stage, and then guitars are on a lower stage. It's a really small, obscure shaped venue, and it's essentially outside. And we played there in Feb, and obviously it was fucking snowing and shit. It was interesting, playing outside in Salt Lake City in the winter. Interesting.
That sounds mental.
I'd love to play it, man.
You described that venue. The weirdest venue that I think we've ever played was just on this Grayscale tour that we've just done. Have you ever played El Paso, Texas?
No.
So El Paso is literally a stone throw away from the Mexican border.
Okay.
So close. Been so close. And there's this place, I've just Googled it. It's called the Lowbrow Palace. And
right.
We went in. The venue is probably about the size of, say, Camden Assembly, Barfly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the stage is 85% of the room, and up here, and yeah, up there, and then the fucking dance floor, if you like, where the crowd are, is down here, and I'm not joking, it's literally like 8 foot down, but it was like 8 square feet. So you're standing up here, and there's like imagine a dunk tank or whatever. Just underneath you. You're playing it, and you're literally looking down at them like this. It's so funny. Like, it was good. Oh no, actually, I think it's probably one of the weaker shows on the tour. Crowd were great, but it was interesting. That was the most interesting venue I've ever played, I think.
Yeah, no, we played some interesting ones, to say the least, to be honest.
Yeah. Sticky Mike's was a tiny one. Sticky Mike's was sick. That was a sick venue.
Yeah, we played I think we played the last show there. I think that's what the deal was. And that was an interesting. Yeah, before the venue closed. I think the promoter, I think his name was Chris Childs. He I know. You know Chris? Yeah, he cool dude. And he put on a load of. Since the band had been going, the first ever shows in Sticky Mike's, he put us on. And I think it was one of those full circle moments where it was they were. I think have they closed down, or is it have they just stopped live music?
I'm not sure. I mean, I've only ever been there a couple of times when I was tour managing, when I first started. I'm not really sure. I thought they were closing down, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was still cool, for him to get in and do do some sort of show. What do you call it? Like a finale show.
Yeah.
It was nuts. We decided to play stuff from EP days.
Yeah.
Little to no practice. And Ronnie hadn't even Ronnie didn't know half the songs, and one of those shows where it was do you know what? Fuck it, let's just bash it, see what happens. And
yeah.
No, it was nuts. It was nuts. But yeah, R.I.P. Sticky Mike's, man. Yeah,
I mean, there's a load of small venues that we've probably both played that are probably not going anymore, which is a shame, obviously. But
does that venue in Birmingham still exist?
The Flapper,
the Rainbow.
The Rainbow, no, that got shut down ages ago. So that was part of if Ryan's still here, can probably tell it better. But I'm pretty sure that was part of the Custard Factory. And then that closed down. But we played loads of times there. I'm pretty sure well before I was in the band, Sammy might be able to confirm, maybe Waster's first Birmingham show. Ryan will probably know. But yeah, everyone used to play the Rainbow Cellar, didn't they?
Yeah, the only reason I say that is I think that was the first place we did in Birmingham.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I remember it being a decent venue at the time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone seemed to play there. Do you know what I mean? I think the equivalent of that now is probably Subside. Do you know what I mean? We've never played Subside, but I've been there many times. I'm sure I've probably been there with you as well. Phil agreed, saying it was the first show. And to be fair, Ryan, I mean, like you said, you don't think Ryan's put any on your shows, but I mean, Ryan's been responsible for a lot of bands in our scene's first show in Birmingham, I think.
Well, do you know what? I've said that. He must have been responsible for a lot of the earlier stuff.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Ryan, you could probably confirm that, mate. You probably remember. Right. Well, I think we covered a good amount of stuff there, mate.
Yeah, man. It's
catch up.
Yeah, it was good to hear you. Good to see you, even though there's 40 other people. Also
Well, one thing I will say before we go, I know we can't obviously say exactly what we're doing, but what's sort of in the pipeline for you guys?
This whole Corona thing has really sort of messed the schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, let me just double check. Has that been? Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we announced Reading and Leeds, and that was kind of the currently the big thing for the year. We're sort of leading to that. There's I don't know what I can and what I can't say. I mean, there was that. There's also, I mean, Corona's as I said, messed all the schedule up. So who knows whether the next 3 months are still going to go as planned. But there's talks of new music and sort of plans for new music. So we just have to see how
how everything plays out in the coming weeks and months. Yes, it's new music time for As It Is. So
same as that. I know we were doing some writing with some people out in America, and I don't think you guys had written did some stuff with them as well. So I'd heard that you guys have been writing. So I'm excited to hear what comes next, man. John's just told me we've got 5 minutes, so if you want to carry on nattering, you're more than welcome to. Or we could see if anyone's got any questions for you specifically.
Yeah.
Before you go, has anyone got any questions for Foley?
Genuine questions.
Yes.
I've got a few mates floating around in here as well that are, asking stupid shit.
Oh yeah, I've seen George's in there and stuff. Sammy's got a question. I wonder what that's going to be.
Go on, Sammy.
Someone's asked if they can join As It Is.
Unfortunately, we are full to capacity.
There you go. Okay, right. Can you tell the story about the Russian mafia?
I could give you the bare bones of it, maybe.
Sammy's been dying for this since you came on.
Who has?
Sammy's been dying for you to tell this since you came on.
I can't tell the whole story, and he knows I can't tell the whole story. But yeah, essentially, we were all staying. Waster and As It Is was staying, and Rome maybe. We were staying in the same hotel in somewhere in the middle of Germany.
It was during Destruction Derby and stuff.
Oh no,
right.
Yeah, and basically, ended up back at the hotel, and we all ended up having a few drinks. And I've gone to the toilet. There's a couple of geezers in the toilet, and I've just started being my usual self. And just getting on really well with them. Sammy, I think, comes in, and basically, since that, like between him coming in and me meeting them, basically, we were just chatting about our home lives, and they were part of the Russian mafia. To join the mafia with them and basically head back to Russia. And I was like, I've got to carry on with a tour and get home. So that's like the.
They obviously thought you were a perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite worrying that I'm obviously giving off mafia vibes, but it's or maybe I'm just a friendly guy. Yeah, I know.
Maybe they needed that friendly edge, to help them in their tracks. Like.
Yeah. I can't go much more detail than that, Samuel. I can't.
Fair enough. I remember, because obviously I was guitar teching for a band on that sort of run that we were all doing together, and you guys wrote a song. You, Rome, who else? You all wrote a song together, didn't you? Like a joke song.
Fucking hell. Yeah, we did.
It was like, ooh, fucking stick it up, you're gonna give it to you, or something like that.
Oh yeah. Alex helped me write it as well. Stick it up. Whoa.
Stick it up, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. I think Alex is still. Oh, Patty might have a copy of it. But yeah, we ended up just getting like smashed in the hotel room and just like laying down all of this like random shit song, which actually turned out to be quite a catchy song.
I remember coming into the venue. I can't remember what show it was, but it was like, I think State Champs, you guys, Waster, Rome, and yeah, I remember hearing it and thinking like, oh, it's actually pretty decent, to be fair. We were all sitting in like the catering bit, and I remember hearing it. What was funny about that whole time as well? Did you guys do Destruction Derby?
Yeah.
So I remember, it was so funny because at the time I'd been tour managing Waster, but I was out with State Champs on that run. And I remember Swifty coming up to me because they're having a bit of a rough time. And Swifty came up to me almost in tears, like, Bootsla, he's like, we really need you. Like, because I was like running about pushing cabs about or something. And it was basically, to cut this long story short, I think Sammy can correct me if not, but like their tour manager at the time ended up in Prague. He left them in Germany, and Swifty was like, Bootsla, our merch is in a bush.
Yeah.
So they had to hide their merch in a bush. Everyone was super drunk. We were shooting off straight away, and like they were like, I felt so sorry for them. I think like Sammy was super ill as well that day. And like Derek from State Champs had given him one of those vocal zone, oh, not vocal zones, the T's, throat coat things. So I felt so sorry for him. It was like, oh, my baby's like, I'm not with him and they're in so much trouble. But...
Yeah, I remember that, like waking up the morning after and just seeing like their van just being fucking, like all of the stuff like being poofed out of the van and just like thrown by the road. Like it was nuts.
Yeah, and then they spoke to him like, where are you? And he was like, oh, I'm in Prague. And he was like, oh, there's someone else taking him home.
That was fucking, that was the night, that was the Russian Mafia.
That was the same night?
I think that was the Russian Mafia night because we were all going down the slide. The hotel had a slide in the middle of the hotel. And we were all going down, that like, it was about 10 of us going down the slide all at once. Nuts.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Right, I think John's ready. So if you're happy with it, mate, it was really good to talk to you, man. Thanks for doing it. I'm thinking I'd probably do some more. So I don't know. Well, depending how long we're going to be in isolation, we might do something else. But I'll give you we'll have another catch up, just me and you, or whatever, at some point, man.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say to you, I'll take a trip up to Birmingham, but I definitely won't be doing that, will I? So.
And I'm not there either, so I'm in Wales.
Of course, yeah. Well, okay, yeah, I will see you somehow, somewhere. But yeah, it's good, man. Good to talk to you.
Sounds good, mate. Thank you for coming on.
All right, no worries. Cheers.
Cheers, dude. Love you. See you later.
Bye.